No, we're streaming.
Okay. Thanks, Jay. Do we have anybody lined up for questions at all or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, Linda's here too. Good. So were you concerned, Nicole, about having to run the meeting tonight?
Oh, I was muted. I said, no, I knew you'd be tough and you'd be here. Well, seriously though, you guys got your vaccinations on Friday, and there were still a lot of teachers that ended up.
Everybody got them on Saturday morning between 8 and
Yeah, Saturday.
and talking with my coworkers down in Saginaw Township. I don't know, about half of the ones I talked to, it hit them about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They just felt miserable and didn't sleep at all. And others were like me, where it took a good 24 to 30 hours before they really had any type of reaction other than a sore arm. So, but enough of them, the principals called around, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 o'clock, and they got enough feedback that enough teachers would be out, that then they decided to call a snow day today on our 60-degree day or whatever, however high it was. So,
How did most of our teachers or our staff report that they handled the vaccines, Mike? Have you heard any?
Yeah, you know what? It sounded like it was prudent to call out or make that Monday remote, because we had enough of them that were still feeling the after effects on that Monday. But, most of them said it was a mild reaction, but, all it takes is 6, 7, 10 across the district, and we wouldn't be able to get subs and whatnot.
Right, right. Yeah, that was a good idea, I think.
Yeah,
doing
I'm glad we did it, and Saginaw Township did not, and then they ended up calling it late. So,
yeah, it makes sense, because even if you're feeling kind of crappy, then you can rest at home instead of having to be sitting in a classroom, and it just made sense.
Yeah. All right, it's 7 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order of the Pinconning Area School Board. I'd like to welcome everybody. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, it was a nice day today. Spring may be here. I actually saw an eastern bluebird at my house, so we'll see. Not a robin, but roll call, please.
All righty. Tom Badifer.
Here.
Brad Dubé.
Present.
Chris Radish.
Present.
Paul Palmaville.
Present.
Nicole Jones.
Present.
Linda Anderson, present. Mark Kuchar.
Present. Thank you. Any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve.
Move to approve the agenda.
Any support?
Support.
Okay. Motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any community comments? Don't think so, but I know there's a little bit of a lag.
Sorry, no, there's none.
Okay. All right, and Spartan Spotlight. Mr. Woodruff or who?
Actually, I'll be doing it, Mark.
Okay, go ahead, Dwayne.
Thank you. Our Spartan Spotlight tonight shines on Athletic and Activity Secretary Nicole Enciso. I have worked in athletics for over 15 years, and during this time, I have never worked with anyone as dedicated to athletics as Nicole is. Her attention to detail is second to none. Nicole and I have talked as early as 5 o'clock in the morning and as late as 10 o'clock at night. Her constant communication and ability to manage several moving parts at once has served her well in this position, especially in a year like this where schedules have changed many, many times. In addition to her daily duties here in the building, Nicole is often up her time supervising events and selling tickets. She jumps in wherever is necessary. Her value to our team is immeasurable. I would like to thank and congratulate Nicole and her contributions to our athletic department and school community.
Great. Congratulations, Nicole.
I would like to second whatever Mr. Van Dries said. I'd like to double that and say that Nicole definitely goes above and beyond and very approachable, and that's a high volume position in our district, and there's a lot of questions that go in and out of there. So hats off to Nicole.
Yeah. And I'll get third in line on that too. I haven't had many interactions with her, but talking to coaches and parents and athletes, it's nothing but glowing comments for her. She's well loved. And I know she works hard. So again, thank you. Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you.
Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda and pay the bills, $444,585.50.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there support?
Support.
All right, we have a motion support. Any discussion on the items? Seeing none, need a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Tom Bedifer,
Yes.
Nicole Jones,
Yes.
Paul Palmaville,
Yes.
Chris Radish,
Yes.
Brad Dubé,
Yes.
Linda Anderson, yes, Mark Kuchar.
Yes. Thank you. Motion approves. Mr. View.
Thank you, Mr. Kuchar. I'd like to just kind of comment on our return to learn plan. We are currently, as you know, face-to-face instruction 5 days a week. And as of now, knock on wood, we've most of our quarantining and isolation has, at this time, I don't think we have any classrooms in quarantine. Is that, anybody want to prove me wrong on that?
We have an ISD room at Linwood.
Okay. All right. Thank you. An ISD room and limited number of students in those rooms. So, but overall, again, it's nice to be able to continue to get the weeks in person. So I don't really look at changing anything to our plan, and unless the board feels we need to. And I think our next board meeting will have to reaffirm how we're providing instruction. Is that correct, Christine?
That is correct.
Okay. So right now, I think we continue as we move along, and again, getting positive feedback that we're able to stay face-to-face at this point. Facilities. We had a long discussion last board meeting. I had a site committee meeting. I went out and Dan LePan worked for R.C. Hendrick. Took a look at Linwood on that exterior wall in the gymnasium. We're going to put a bid out for that. Heat exchanger at Linwood was being replaced or is replaced at this time. I mentioned that. The chimney quotes at Central, we are finalizing those at this time and looking to award that to someone to get the chimney taken down and rebuilt at Central. I talked to waiting on a quote from Meals. We had talked about the annex and worked with Jim out there to see if we can supplement the heat. Trying to think if there was anything else that we discussed that needs a follow-up. You think of anything, Tom?
No, not really. The only other thing is we went and looked at the bleachers out to Claire.
That's true. Yep. I did get an updated, I requested an update per the site committee on the bleachers, and I don't have that in hand, but the gentleman who is doing the bleachers told me that Claire just recently installed bleachers that would look a lot like what we're going to put in. So went over to Claire and looked at those. They're very sharp. I think they're all aluminum. They're braced properly. They have a nice green kick plate. So when you're looking at them from the field, they look very good and they're very solid. So once we get that redone on the bid, you know, it's something I think we would like to move forward with once funds are there.
Hey, Mike, my understanding is Jim got our heat working out there.
Okay. Nice.
Scott told me he changed something in that unit in the center and made it work. Oh,
Mute yourself, Kyle.
Sorry.
All right.
oh. So that's my understanding is the heat's pumping from that middle unit.
Okay, good. Maybe Meals was, I know Meals was out. Maybe they told him how to maybe just fix it instead of doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Good. Well, thank you. He hadn't told me that. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services updates. This came out last week, and as most of you at work or at school, you know that there's been some changes. There's double the amount of people in the restaurants that you eat in now, so that's one of the changes that you may have seen. But as of March 5th, we can do in face-to-face board meetings, and I kind of want to have some dialogue with the board tonight about how you want to approach board meetings, because we can have 25 people in attendance. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for spectators, because you're looking at about 11, with administration, maybe 15 people. What I'm gonna, we can do a couple of different ways. We have to allow for public comment. We have to provide alternate means of attendance. So I believe that one time we allowed the community to come do public comment via Zoom or a virtual means. We can do it that way, or we can have an overflow room, meaning if we have more than 10 spectators, we could put them elsewhere in the building and then they could watch it from any Mark or any board members have any preferences how you want to do it?
I was thinking we would just do like a hybrid format like they had suggested, and we would be all in person like we did before, and then have like the spectators, participate online. Or I'm good with either way. Whatever way works best for Jay to work that out, because it's got some tech stuff that he's going to have to do.
My comment. Whatever's best for Jay.
Right. If you want to do the overflow room and have people be able to watch in there, I'm fine either way. Like I said, I'd like to just leave that up to Jay, whatever would be easiest for him.
I would piggyback on that as whatever's easiest for Jay. I think it worked okay last time, but I know he had a lot of things to kind of ramble around to make that happen. But we can do our allotment for maybe 20 people if we need somebody, either the lawyer to be there or anybody else, Dan LePan, somebody like that need to come in. So with the board members and administration and those folks, I know where that's going to be 15 to 20. And then you can just have a list of, whoever first come, first serve. I would think the Pinconning Journal would want to be at the top of the list there. And I'm fine with that. But where we can open, generally we don't have a lot of public that wants to come out to do that. And I know a lot of people like doing it from the comfort of their own home. So I would any thoughts for you, Ray?
If we still have to stream it to the people in the overflow room, it doesn't. It's basically going to be the same as having them stay at home.
Okay, then let's not.
It really doesn't make sense to have them still come in.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is going to be finding a better camera and microphone. Things are pretty sparse order-wise, and I'm going to have to try and find something better than what we used last time. So,
okay.
If you guys anything in stock?
Is that kind of how we want to go about it then? We'll have public comment via virtual and have small gathering. So Jay, we're going to have to sit down maybe and see, like you said, maybe work out a way and possibly those limits get lifted eventually that you don't have to, we can do a full face-to-face, but Tom, do you know what the ISD is doing?
We're going to do the same thing. We're going to have an overflow room and have it streamed into there and let them make their comments from the overflow room.
See, comments shouldn't really be any different than how we do it now. If we're hybrid, it's just you guys are going to be in one room. I mean, people would still fill out the form, and we would still invite them as they fill out the form to be part of the meet, just like we have in the past when people did have comments. So the only time it was really different was when we did that open forum on YouTube. But as long as we stick with the form and give them the invite for the meet ahead of time, as long as they don't sign up for a comment like 3 minutes before the meeting starts, it should work pretty smooth.
Okay, the next meeting we'll plan on the board being physically at the boardroom, and we'll have a virtual input for the public.
Yep. Sounds like we're ready to go.
Some of the other things that were lifted with the MDHHS rules were, obviously, you've probably heard about the for venue for sport extracurricular gatherings, they can go up to 375 spectators. Had a lot of discussion within the Jack Pine conference, and when you get, the thing about people don't realize is when you get 3 teams of students and you possibly have a dance team and you have some other, you're not far from that 375 threshold. So the discussions in the Jack Pine, what we've decided is we want to allow 4 tickets for varsity teams only. So anyone on the varsity team will now be able to have 4 passes per athlete. And that way we keep the numbers down. So where the freshmen and JV don't have 4, but varsity players will have 4. That is something that all the Jack Pine schools are doing.
And Mike, the Jack Pine Conference isn't really governing the dance team or cheerleaders, correct?
Correct.
So I guess I would piggyback on that or suggest that seniors, maybe juniors too, on the dance team. I'm not sure how many that would add, but at least the seniors get 4 tickets also from the dance team, or any other, if we're allowed to have a pep band or anything like that down the pipe, is that seniors are considered in that top round getting extra tickets.
Mark, in fact, I met with all of the athletes today from the girls basketball team, boys basketball team, and dance team. So all of the dancers will get the 4 tickets because it's one team and we consider it a varsity sport. So we opened it up to all of them, and the reactions today were wonderful.
Yeah, excellent. You better than I had hoped. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I know those parents and their coach also appreciate that.
Yeah.
Some of the other things I think we already hit on board meetings, but those are the major ones that came out. Obviously, I mentioned restaurants, but that doesn't really deal with us. But one of the things that came out recently also, and I'm not by any means making a decision tonight or trying to. I just want to put a statement out that there has been some discussion from the health department as to guidance on quarantining when you do for travel. And some schools are just making that information available to parents. And we're kind of working with our health department. And at this point, they're just recommendations. They're not mandates. So I just want to let you know that there's some guidance out there for quarantining after spring break. And at this point, Bay County, we're working with Bay County and the ISD to see kind of what the school's expectations should be. Anybody have any questions about that?
Well, I was wondering, if whether we decide, and again, just the thought, not a direction that I would want to go. But do we need to quarantine for a week or 2 after spring break? I don't know how many people are going to be traveling. Do we ask for families to provide that information and maybe they quarantine themselves and they do remote learning for that week or 2? if they do go out. But I would urge the board members to give that some thought and to talk to the parents that you know. And I don't think this is as big of an issue as it has been in years past pre-COVID, because I think a lot of people will be staying home. So I'd hate to kind of go 2 weeks remote if it's only 10, 20 families, or maybe even 10%. So just want people to think about it.
Because like I said, some people, as far as we're not going to know who's traveling, who's not traveling. It's really going to be a policing nightmare as to how we would implement it. And then there's the discussion of, do people, if they're vaccinated, we've been getting indications that if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine. So we just need to get a pretty concise statement from Bay County Health Department and then go from there. All right. Any other questions? All right. Band uniforms. This band uniforms I wanted to bring up tonight because I've been, Kyle and I have been working with Miss Mills from the band, our and she received a pretty large donation recently, and I want to I put it in the board packet as for new band uniforms. The donation was really for the band boosters, and that money could be used for various items. There just happened to be in need of uniforms, and they haven't had uniforms in quite some time. So Rachel's going to come to the next board meeting and kind of show you the uniforms that she has in mind, the ones that they've kind of looked at. She's going to continue to fundraise, but eventually may want the board to subsidize some of the cost of the uniforms, like we do with athletics and that type of thing. So she's going to be actively fundraising to get those. We do need them. So she'll be able to give you a look at what she has in mind. But the generous donor was Gary Yaros and his wife, Kathy. They've always supported our district. They had themselves had children go through the district, actually have one in the district, and have been very supportive of not only industrial arts, fine arts, but very generous in that. So we appreciate their donation to the band to the band boosters for our band program. So we will definitely be, I think we'll be able to secure enough money to get those uniforms for next year. Anybody else here have any input on that? Okay, like I said, Rachel will be at the next meeting to kind of show those COVID vaccine clinic. We have definitely, tentatively, now that it is not tentative, we've secured a COVID vaccine clinic at our high school gymnasium on March 20th. The hours of this will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this will be for county residents that are 50 and over, the guidelines that are out there for the COVID vaccines right now. It will target those from the zip codes in the Northern Bay area, though. So if you meet the criteria and everyone needs to sign up if they want it at the Bay County website. There's a survey that I included, and it's out there that they have to sign up for it on their website. Then they'll get a questionnaire, and they'll be sent to our clinic if they qualify on Saturday the 20th. Joel Strauss and Commissioner Fox from Bay County have helped kind of secure that, and we walked the gym recently. He thinks it's a nice setup to have people coming in on one end of the gym, exit out to the south, and have like the wrestling area, the multi-purpose room, staging area for the nurses in the vaccine. So they really kind of like the way our gym would account for the vaccination. So, any questions on that? So that'll be nice for our people up here in Northern Bay if they're interested in those. Getting a vaccine, it'll be local for them, and like I said, they'll be getting it from. If someone signs up via their website, they'll be getting contacted if they fit that criteria for who's getting them at this time. So that's all I have.
Yay.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. View? All right, moving on. Administrative staff. Nobody? We're good?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I believe the curriculum committee met.
Curriculum committee met this evening at 5:30. Christine Shireen did a fabulous job breaking down what she has in plan for the next year concerning curriculum. She broke it down by elementary, middle school, and high school. And I would hope that her 3 pages of notes get to each one of the board members because she has everything outlined perfectly. Everything is paid for through grants or carryover money from last year. The main thing that I was most impressed with is that we will be looking at a coach to help teachers on a part-time basis. And she's been working with teachers this year, but it's going to be more of a set part-time half-time between the ISD and our district for next year.
Yeah, Chris, if I could just kind of follow up a little bit. She works here a bit limited right now. We would only be sharing her with one other entity, so we would have her maybe about 3/4 of the time. That's what we'd be looking to do this year. Right now, we have her probably 1/4 of the time. This would build her time in our district even more.
Great. Yeah, if I know I would appreciate those notes. So if those can be emailed to me, that'd be great. I don't know if anybody in the rest of the board would like those.
I'd like to see them.
All right. Yeah, let's just get them to everybody then, if you could.
I will get those forwarded ASAP.
Excellent. Thank you. And thanks for doing such a thorough job. Any other committees or comments for the curriculum? All right. Public comments. Jay, anybody join up now?
Yes and no. So nobody filled out the official form, so I don't have contact information, but somebody did mention on the Yahoo stream that they have a concern about the quality of food that the students are getting, like bad produce and such. So they kind of want that addressed. I replied telling them that it would help if they filled out the form so that we have their contact information so we can follow up with them. But I haven't heard anything. So when I get that, I'll get it to you. But for now, that's
okay.
You know, and I can share with you the full text of the comment if you want me to, or I can share it with Mike and he can get it.
Why don't you share that with Mike, and
Okay.
he can follow up with me if he needs to. But Mike, you can go down that road with Miss Ross and see if there's a particular day that something happened, or if it's a consistent thing. That might be worth the contact if it's kind of a one-time thing, or if it's more of a consistent thing that this is talking about.
And at what location?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Any others? Okay. Discussion items from the board.
I have something I'd like to bring up. I was approached by a couple people in the community that had concerns about some of the pictures that have been taken and put in the Pinconning Journal. Specifically, a couple weeks ago, when the students, I don't know if they're called Student of the Month or whatever it is with Kyle, none of them had masks on. And when the homecoming pictures were taken, or coming home pictures last weekend, none of the guys had masks on and they were right next to each other. And they were just concerned about what we're kind of showing the public and telling the public when we send out pictures like that.
All right. Good point. Appreciate that and bringing that to our attention. Other discussion items. Okay. If not, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good evening, everybody.
You too.